Good morning, Elle Ingles here at project-free.com. And I do my workout clothes. Well, I come on here in my workout clothes frequently. Missed my 8 a.m. time this morning. Have you ever been so involved in a project and you just lose track of time? Well, that was what was happening to me. So I was just typing away, working on this thing. And then I look up and it's 8:15. So my apologies for anybody who likes to come on at 8 a.m. with me, but it is 8:20 here in Michigan this morning when I'm doing this live. If you're on the replay, thanks so much for watching. A lot of people catch me on the replay. I remember I had a client who, before he was working with me, he said, yeah, I actually watch your video at night when I get home from work to chill out. So you may be watching this in the evening. Time is a stressor for many of us, and I teach a whole session on time and life design with my clients because I've just noticed that it's easy to make a lot of progress with pressure free, but if you have time pressures, if you most of us stress out over time, either we have enough time or not enough time or too much time. It's never the right amount of time to do a project or to get somewhere. And some people are early birds, some people are a little late, and that can cause a lot of friction, especially if those two different types of people live in the same household. And so I'm going to give you some time tips this morning, some things to help you switch that up a little bit. First of all, I want you to imagine that we've gone back in time, and this is a log cabin instead of a condo, and it's like 200 years ago, 250 years ago. We would be naturally getting up with the sun, a little before the sun, to do our particular chores, morning chores. We'd have a meal. We'd spend the rest of the morning doing more work, outside, chopping wood, doing the garden, all the things we needed to do to survive. When the sun gets high in the sky, we'd probably stop for a midday meal of some kind. Then it's back to work until dusk comes. And then we might light a candle for a little while, but we're pretty much going to go to bed because we've actually done physical labor and we're kind of tired. Today, we have clocks that are pinging the seconds. Ever look at the clock in your car and it's actually flashing every single second that goes by? When I was a girl, there were no clocks in cars. I remember my grandfather was the first person to have a clock in his car in our family, and we just thought it was amazing. And it had hands. Right? It was a gold Impala, and it had these hands. It was a strong car because it could pull his trailer, his camper. It was very important. My grandparents basically lived in a camper after they retired and sold their house. So that was a very important car for my grandpa, and it had a clock. Before that, unless you were wearing a watch, which people did wear watches, of course, you got in the car and you just drove to where you were going. You didn't look at the clock constantly to see if you were going to get there on time. There was very little worry about that. If you left the house at a certain time, you were pretty sure you were going to get there. So one of the exercises I have my clients do is notice how many times you look at the clock in the car when you're going somewhere. Just notice it. It's fascinating how many times you'll actually look at the clock. Sometimes I say, okay, get a sticky note and like paste it over the clocks in your house, paste it over your computer clock. If you want to do some deep work, then I highly recommend you just like put your screen so you can't see that little clock in the corner of your computer, because it's amazing how many times you'll look at the clock. In places where I coach, like I'm here in our living room, in the study. I have another area where I coach, where I usually set up a desk. Like I set up desks all around here because sometimes my husband's working from home. So I don't have a clock where I coach on purpose because I want to be completely focused on my clients, completely dialed in with no distractions and no thought of, oh, I have this coming up in the future. I want to be dialed in. So if you need to do deep work, you need to get focused, clocks can often distract us. So I don't have any clocks around. Also, I usually go to this condo in Saugatuck for once a year when I really go a deep dive on my own personal planning for my business, for my life. And it has a clock that ticks. I take it off the wall and stick it out in my car. Because even when I put it in a drawer, I could still hear it clicking. Tick, tick, tick. I don't want to hear the ticking either. So, so take a look and just see if you're kind of clock focused and if that is taking you away from your deep work, is it causing you anxiety? Because it does, I watch it cause anxiety in a lot of my people. If you wake up in the morning and for some reason your alarm doesn't go off or you just thought you'd wake up naturally and you woke up too late, please make sure you don't trigger the stress response in those first seconds that you're waking up and you see what time it is. Just assume that you have all the time in the world to get where you need to go. It's really an important change because if you trigger the stress response first thing in the morning, you're going to be operating with adrenaline. You're going to be not as focused here. Your work is going to have little mistakes in it if you take a really close look. So you want to stay as pressure-free as possible in the morning and just before bed. Of course, all day long is what I work on with my clients. So some water. But early morning, it's kind of those routine times. First thing in the morning, that first hour or so, and then in the evening, really watch for that too. Are you kind of panicked about getting to sleep every night? I work with people like, I've got to be in bed by 10 because I need this many hours, and they're so stressed out over what time it is that's what's causing them to have a poor night's sleep. By the way, you may have a sleep app, you may be tracking your sleep, but your app does not track what I think is the most important thing about sleep. If you've triggered the stress response in your day, your whole night, your body is working on clearing out the stress hormones from the cells so you can get back to normal. Your whole night. If you don't trigger the stress response, your body, your cells get to actually renew, rejuvenate, refresh. Lately, I've been noticing that every morning, my skin is healthier. Like every morning. I used to have a lot of skin issues, eczema all over my hands, stress acting on my face. I don't have a stitch of makeup on this morning. I used to have little red bumps on the backs of my arms and the backs of my legs. If you ask my husband, he would tell you what a mess my skin was, even at age 18, when he first met me. So to wake up in the morning and to be turning 60 this year and to like look at the skin on my legs and think, oh my gosh, that's my skin. It was because during the night, my whole body got to heal better. Nutrients got to get out to the cell. That does not happen if you trigger fight or flight. So if you stress out over the time in the evening, that's a place you can start to work. Relax your abs, smile a little bit. Assume that you're going to get a great night's sleep. Assume success for yourself. That's a slogan I use a lot. Assume success. Assume success for you, for others. Assume that you're going to get all the rest you need. Because if you're in that other mode, your body is not truly resting. And if you're using substances to get to sleep, your brain is never getting in the actual place it needs to get to sleep. Not only that, but you're creating more of an acid body. And in an acidic body, your body can't heal, can't rejuvenate. It actually is primed to create bacteria and cancers, which you don't want. So play with this idea, watch your bookends of the day. I can coach all day on just those two areas of your day, the routines you do, the things you think about. They're so important. That's how you can start to change things up a little bit. It's working on those two bookends of your day, your routines. Because you have a routine if you don't think you do. Maybe your routine is just like sloshing down some wine and smoking some weed and dropping into bed. I don't know what your routine is. But we all have these routines, these things we do in the morning and the evening. Are they serving you, or are they actually decomposing you, like taking you out of your game? So I hope this is helpful. Time is a real stressor for a lot of people, and I love freeing people up. Most of my clients gain time in their day when they work with me because they eliminate a lot of the things that take us out of our game, that cause us to be unproductive. And so when you become pressure-free, you gain time in your day. It's sometimes I have so much time, like, wow, let's start a new project because I have time in my day, which did not happen pre-pressure free. It just didn't happen. I personally gained about an hour and a half to 2 hours when I tracked it in that first year, 2010. But I think it's even gotten better because I've just gotten even more productive. My brain is working even better. So I wish you a great pressure-free day. Just kind of rambling a little here, but that's okay. Because I really want to share with you and I want you to truly step into pressure-free. Of course, just private message me if any of this interests you. If you have trouble with time, if you have trouble sleeping, you don't have to have that anymore. I'm here to help you. So just go to speakwithelle.com. That's my calendar. Oh, also sign in for this conference. I'll put the link below. Actually, I'm doing a whole post. Another post is going to come out about the conference. Great speakers. There'll be some great takeaways for you, especially if you're in business. You own a business, you work for a business, you're a professional, and you're looking for those little cutting edge things that can really start to turn it on for you. So have a great pressure-free day.